Hey there. Have you ever thought about how AI agents can really just take your business to the next level? Well, today in our episode, we're going to talk about the impact on MSPs. We're going to talk about how to grow your business using AI agents. Obviously, we got to talk about the future of AI as a whole as well. Stick around, you're not going to want to miss this one. Hey, everybody. I'm Kristen Fehrenbach, the Senior Director of Microsoft Go-to-Market here at Pax8. Thank you so much for joining today. As you know, on Technically Unraveled, we cover all things AI, modern workplace, Azure, business applications, cybersecurity, the whole stack. But Technically Unraveled's not the only one. We've got the game. You don't want to miss out with Dom and Matt. You've got Academy Live with the whole Rex and crew. Make sure you check those out and make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. You don't want to miss out on all the awesome content coming your way. This week, I am super excited about our guest, UB. He is the CEO of Revscale AI. Thank you so much for taking the time today to join us.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Super excited.
Absolutely. So just tell me a little bit about yourself. What do you do? And I like to start out with a fun fact. We got to get to know you a little bit.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I'm UB. I'm the CEO of Revscale, and what we've been working on is building AI agents designed for all aspects of growth. So, I guess my fun fact here would be that we nerd out 24/7 around these agents, and we've got more agents working personally on little tasks that you would never imagine that an AI agent could do, and constantly building and seeing what we could bring out for the entire community that we service.
Awesome. Okay. We're going to get to that because that is super exciting. But just tell me a little bit more about Revscale, if you don't mind. What kind of inspired the thought behind it? Maybe like, what is your vision of the company? As you know, it's a prime time for AI right now.
Yeah, that's a good question. It's interesting because we started building this about 4.5 years ago. So back when, forget about AI agents, just AI in general really wasn't something that people could grasp really fully. And the impetus behind Revscale really came from observing businesses through prior ventures that the team and I had either worked on together or separately, but really the problems were the same. The businesses struggle with scaling their sales and go to market and support operations without proportionally increasing headcount. And so the market, we felt that the market really needed a solution that can handle these growth challenges intelligently, if you will. And we begin with a very simple premise of what if AI could manage the repetitive aspects of customer support, interactions, basically anything around the entire journey. And obviously our vision has evolved from simply automating just repetitive tasks to actually creating what we call unified intelligence. And we've got a little sneak preview of just one of the many, many applications that's really cool that more people will start to see and maybe already even using without really realizing it.
Ooh, that's pretty neat. And it really sounds like your company's really maybe designed to help just scale in a faster motion. Is that kind of what I'm picking up here?
Yeah, whether it's outbound sales, inbound lead handling, whether it's customer support or even just research to make sure that your customers are having everything that they need to or that they potentially might want, and then offering various different modalities of ways to access powerful AI.
All right. So it sounds like this might not be as complicated. It's not rocket surgery, maybe rocket science, rocket surgery. We're just going to mix them all together. You ready? But I think that people might get a little overwhelmed, when we're talking about AI agents, right? Because like you said, it's not been around for a long time. It's new. It's a little scary. What are some of those like common misconceptions that people might have?
Yeah, I think there's one of the biggest ones is that you need to be a computer scientist or a data nerd to be able to fully understand how these work or even use them. ChatGPT did a great job of making it commercially available. Anthropic, all these companies that are making these chatbots and apps available to everyone. But there are some other ways that AI can be accessed and used, even if you're not the one building it. And one of those is actually a voice AI agent. So we've seen restaurants, hospitality industry be the first to kind of jump on. However, other industries not too far behind as well. And it's just like talking to a normal, regular person.
Sounds like this is pretty cool. And I would love to be able to see that in action. What do you think?
Yeah, we've worked pretty hard on trying to get one of our AI agents to actually join this call, if you don't mind.
Let's try it. I mean, hey, that's pretty cool.
Awesome. What I'll do is I'll see if we can add him in, and we'll just ask him a couple questions about all the capabilities of voice agents, and then we'll get back to us talking.
Let's do it.
Awesome. All right. Okay. Hey, Theo, are you there?
Hey.
All right. Can you hear me? All right. I'll give him a second to. Oh, there we go. All right. So.
Hey there, Theo here. Excited to join in. Let's dive into some. Hey there, Theo here. Excited to join in. Let's dive into some AI magic.
Theo, can you tell us a little bit about all that you can do?
Oh, totally. I can do a ton of cool stuff. I can connect to various systems like scheduling tools or your CRM to really streamline tasks. Plus, I'm built to understand what you're saying, generate thoughtful responses, and keep the conversation super engaging.
Theo, what about for MSPs?
Okay, so when you say MSP, are you referring to managed service providers? If so, are you asking how I can help them specifically?
Yeah, why don't you tell us about what you can do there?
Gotcha. For managed service providers, I can be a real game changer. I can handle round-the-clock customer care, answering common questions, and routing complex issues, which frees up your team. Plus, I can help with lead qualification and even automate personalized outreach to find new clients.
All right, thanks, Theo.
You got it. Anything else I can help with right now?
I think we're all good.
Wow. Okay. Like, I know that we were picking up, a little bit of feedback. Sure. I mean, hey, look, we're doing a live show, but like, it sounds like a real person.
It's pretty crazy, the various different aspects of how AI is evolving, and just being able to, they're the canned use cases, if you will, that we can advertise till the day's end. But ultimately, people are going to be they're going to be the ones to tell us how their business operates. And a lot of our AI agents internally are actually customizing themselves and kind of teaching their colleagues so that we can truly help deploy an AI workforce, not to replace. That's another, to go back to your other point about what are people most nervous about, or what are they scared about. And aside from the fact that they think that it's very difficult to use, which it's not, and we just probed that here, but they're also worried about replacement. And I think we're well far away from that right now. These AI, whether they're agents, voice agents, on the screen, behind the scenes, these are designed to augment your team's efforts, not replace them.
What you said was really interesting. So let me make sure that's what I understood. You said these agents are then training the other agents as well?
Yeah, so we've developed, we have commercially available agents, but then internally we've got a number of different agents to also help us. And why should we be the ones teaching this essentially this ball of code on what the rules and operations are, when we can teach one agent that can then assist us with 24-hour monitoring? So a lot of the time, some of our customers will say, well, you've got all of these agents deployed in SMBs, enterprises, all of these different places. How can you manage every single one? So we've also got an AI workforce internally that's also constantly monitoring and making sure our customers, like we talked about earlier, the MSPs can use for themselves, but we also make sure our MSPs are well taken care of, and the AI agent is monitoring for any hallucinations or things like that.
Got it. And so then you named him Theo, but you can name him whatever, right? Like, so you can, I mean, you can have, Theo and Theodore, and, you can just go down this whole path, right?
Yeah, I guess I'll add to the fun fact that you asked me about in the beginning. But all of our AI agents, especially Theo, are members of the Revscale team's pets. So we've personified them to a degree. They're now our AI agents. So we've got Baxter, and then you got Penelope, and you've got Theo, the newest addition.
I will immediately be going to our AI transformation office and asking for an agent named Winston for my dog as well. So great. I love that. Okay. So now my brain's going all different directions. So I'm going to let's start at the beginning, because it was super interactive. It sounded like a real person. Like, okay, I'm like, this is just a really neat experience overall. But what kind of problems can an AI agent potentially solve when I look at it through the landscape and the lens of an MSP?
So let's take an example that's more a little closer to home for us. So we work with many franchise brands, but one of them is recently adopted our AI agent in the format of a customer support agent, except it's able to answer the calls 24 hours a day. So they're not saying goodbye, human team. They're just saying at 5:01 p.m. until 8 a.m. the next morning, we still want customers calling in to see about an appointment or a repair for window coverings. They're able to actually talk to someone live on the phone, have that be a truly generative AI experience, meaning people are going to describe their problems in all kinds of different ways or what they want. And being able to have a generative engine not only can be patient, and trust me, reviewing some of these transcripts as well, some of them are 18 minutes long of someone trying to explain that their blinds are broken. And being able to basically come back and forth with that same level of patience and understand what's needed. There's actually upsell opportunities, context windows, all this kind of AI stuff goes away. And it just becomes a consumer talking to a voice agent that then gets translated. And the biggest difference, I think, right now that people might be confused about, well, what's the difference between workflow automation, like all these platforms out there, and an agent? And the agents can actually take actions. They can utilize tools, which might sound a little crazy, but utilizing tools may mean sending a follow-up email saying, okay, I've sent you the link. You should be getting it on your phone any minute, while still on the phone with a customer, and helping them through if they can't see it immediately. That keeps your team truly being thinkers instead of just doers, which a lot of us, I think, have said, if only I had a few more hours in the day. So really taking those mundane, repetitive tasks off the plate is a great way to kind of visualize how AI agents can be implemented. Even if you may think, in my business, I don't need AI agents. We do everything. Well, there's probably some baseline set of tasks that are just, you're like, I wish someone else could do those.
100%. Because I mean, like, what if you get this email and every time you've got to download this and send it to the same finance team? Like, I think that people are going to have to start changing their mindset. But you said the word generative. And can you just kind of elaborate specifically, like, what does that mean? And I mean, we talk a lot about, agents, the agentic future, generative AI. So can you just kind of break those down for me a little bit?
Sure. I guess generative AI in general it represents a transformative opportunity really around, if you look at the MSP example as well, it's not just another technology to resell. These are tools that change how operations are had and values delivered. So generative AI, if you're looking at operational examples as well, you could think about automated ticketing, AI-powered first-level support handling. Tier 1 support now has a different meaning than Tier 3 support used to have. Knowledge-based maintenance, being able to also predict maintenance through patterns, things like that people would miss just from being people, being tired, having multiple different hats that they have to wear. These are more around service value delivery, as well as, generative in the true sense of what that word means, to be able to generate new ways that it can be helpful.
All right. I like it because, look, I think we've all called a 1-800 number. They start going through the list and they're like, hit one for this. And I'm like, oh my God,
Yeah.
Fine, 0. And then we've all just smashed this 0 button.
Representative.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like now I'm yelling into this thing that's obviously not listening to me. And then now I'm just hitting 0. But now we're getting to the point where it's actually, you're just having a natural conversation. And so on the back end of this, right? So like, where's it gathering this information? Like, am I pointing to a document of like, hey, here's my T's and C's, or is it just out there in the web?
That's a really good question. I actually was just talking with one of our clients earlier that it took them about 30 to 40 minutes, and I'm sure they're watching this and cursing me from behind the screen. But just to poke fun at them a little bit, I told them I would do this. But 30 to 40 minutes to explain how this knowledge base that they gave us gets outdated every day, and we're understanding what they're saying, and we introduce for them live knowledge base. So when maybe a service that they're offering has a new update, and then maybe a couple other services, or there's new updates that are happening in the world just relevant to their offerings, being able to have something that, again, in the sense of agents being able to use tools, one of their tools is actually the web. And you're going to see the letters MCP a lot more all over the place. And model context protocol, I won't even get into the actual definition there, because ultimately it doesn't matter what the MCP tool that agents are going to be able to use that are already being used by them, basically allow them to take series of actions, and also from a set list of things that they could possibly do, decide what order they want to do them in, being able to use advanced tools. So all of that coming to the point of live knowledge base. You asked, how do they know all this stuff? Where are they getting this information from? They're actually able to now go in and constantly refresh web pages, see new videos that are added to YouTube about a topic, new tips and tricks, and constantly feed itself, and also an underlying data layer. So that's why we've seen a lot of our customers, they said, well, we just want to start with one. Very quickly, they come back for many more across different functions, because agents are actually designed in a way that one agent's input and output really influence and help the efficacy of the other agents in a suite. So they're truly meant to be an AI workforce.
Okay, now you've really got my brain working. Some over here, I'm like, okay, like there's so much content and there's always changes, innovations. Like even if you think about the Microsoft landscape, right? There's always a new product feature. There's always something that's being updated. Pricing, is Teams included? Is it not? And so you're telling me we'd really be able to point to it and it would stay consistently updated. It's not like I would be going in, reviewing a PDF, updating it from, $21 to $22. Like in theory,
yeah,
it's just already done. Like there's no human touch at that point.
Well, there's a couple things that we've seen happen there where, when I say we've seen, that's an important kind of keyword to focus on, because we didn't teach it to do that initially. We've seen that it found other relevant API documentations or something about the platforms that, any one of the platforms you mentioned as well. It can actually say, this is a good way of doing it. But I saw a YouTube video that showed this other person doing it a different way. So already went and tried to get that documentation. And so we call this MOE, mixture of experts. And internally, the agents have mini agents underneath them. So I don't want to get very inception-y here, but these agents can actually operate as pods and have tools and other mini agents that can go and get them fresh documentation or go and check out a new service offering. And ultimately, what we've done is we actually scrapped what was on our mobile app and turned it fully into a mobile agent hub, just a command center. We don't want you to be doing everything that you're doing on our web platform in the mobile app as well. We just wanted it to be, hey, I had a thought. Let me go and speak or type or whatever it is about these new one-line instructions. And so aside from it having all of this information out there that it can access and stay updated from, ultimately it's servicing you. So if you have a thought, you look at an email, I'm sure everyone's tried, at one point, ChatGPT, write me a blog, or Anthropic or Claude, write me this. And you look at it and you go, yeah, I'm going to write it myself. And so what we can actually do now is you can say, here's what I changed in, or actually, can you use an emoji or use an exclamation mark, soften this a little bit. Going forward, everything your agent does can actually take that one little instruction that you gave it. And
So
so
it's got like
there's
memory sort of thing happening?
Exactly.
Okay. Huh. All right. Okay. Now,
Yeah.
you've led me down this path. Okay. So now I'm really excited. So, what do you see the future of AI agents? Because, I mean, this is all very innovative. Like the innovation is just continuing to happen day over day. So, if you're going to read some tea leaves, what do you think the future of AI looks like?
Yeah, I should probably preface it by saying this answer is likely to be changed very, very soon. I'd be surprised if by the end of this, something new hadn't come out that we missed reading about our agent captured. But in this case, what I would say is you're going to see agents become the new norm. I think trying to resist that change is something like saying, I simply won't use the internet. And so I would compare it to something like that. What I see happening is everyone will soon have an agent, whether they even know it or not. And that could be their phone. That could be them writing in a notes app, and suddenly they see their phone starts to kind of mold in the usage patterns that they are more accustomed to. So without even realizing it, they're going to be everywhere. There are grocery stores, just because they don't have self-checkout, there are grocery stores that are using agents to restock inventory. It's just going to become a convenience factor in life, and really anything that we say will stick that is a fashion and not just a fad is something that you cannot go back to life without, or go back to life that without having access to. So, I think things will be very different a year from now, 5 years from now. The actual the business landscape will change very, very quickly, and already has, in terms of being able to do more with less, kind of upfront costs and resources needed.
All right, now let's zoom out further. You ready? Because I asked you specifically about agents. What are your thoughts on AI in general as we go forward? Because I think the agents piece is a portion of it, but what are your thoughts holistically?
I think they'll have deep vertical knowledge. I think, in the sense of legal, financial, healthcare, manufacturing, I think regulations, compliance, things that are traditionally very, very, I wouldn't say scary, but red tape, or a lot of confusion around, or require large teams. Agents will be able to have verticalized, specialized knowledge, and again, they already do to some degrees. But these new concepts of MCP, that'll be like the concept. The equivalent would be like internet coming out, dial-up, and then going to Wi-Fi. I mean, these are transformational shifts, not
You don't miss
not
the
just
AOL Connect sound? Is that what you're
right.
saying?
That I still have some PTSD from hearing the beeps, different beep sounds. But actually, that actually reminds me of this video I just saw a couple weeks ago of an AI agent calling a hotel on behalf of someone to make a reservation, and it introduced itself as an AI agent, and that hotel's operator was an AI agent, and they switched to a gibberlink language, and they started, said it'll be faster than trying for us to natural language process and break it down. And I think that's that level that I'm talking about of efficiency, and just a foundational shift. It's not even it'll be more efficient. Right now, that's not happening. And being able to, sit on the phone with an airline for 3 hours, or like to sit on hold with an internet provider trying to find out where the technician is. These things, I'm very confident, will be things of the past for humans, at least.
That's so interesting. So, look, there's nothing I hate more than having to actually pick up this cell phone and dial a phone number. I don't like if I can't text you or chat, I'm like, I'm not doing it. So now I'm like, okay, so I can have an AI agent that schedules my dentist appointments.
Yep. And so
Huh.
when we were saying earlier about AI agents being able to use tools, that's a great example. You go on a website, you fill out the live chat. You're saying, I'm not going to fill out the form. I want immediate answers now. And the consumer mindset is shifting as well. Consumers want things faster, better. They want it immediately,
Mhm.
instead of just 20 minutes later, even if you're touting that you answer all forms within the next 20. There's a mentality of I want it now. And a live chat is an example of a tool that an agent could use and control on the back end. And it has another tool connected, which could be the phone, like Theo, like how we just heard. And so you could live chat and it could say, let me come back to you on that, process information, and give you a call back. And so this multimodal type of shift is going to, not just for that example, but then you could extrapolate for industries and also defense, major industries that are traditionally and notoriously manual can even start to have their mundane tasks take over by AI agents.
Well, I'm gonna ask you the question because I feel like we're dancing around it a little.
No, I'm not an AI agent. No.
Come on. No. Well, look, okay, so now people are going to be maybe, for instance, using it, like truly giving it people's personal information, right? Are we nervous about security here? Like, what is the security concern? Like, talk to me about that view.
Yeah, I mean, we're building AI agents for growth, business, traditional business functions, but you have to know that the cybersecurity companies out there, I think, a field well familiar with the Pax8 community as well. Cybersecurity companies, defense companies, they are also innovating with AI. And I'm sure, not saying that there aren't, people with malintentions also experimenting with it, but our hope obviously is to further everything where things like data breaches, leaks, privacies. We're working with a large cybersecurity company right now for a certain compliance. They're already deploying agents internally to monitor different aspects. It goes back to what I was saying about vertical specializations for compliance, things like that. I think there's a fear because of what's been Hollywood style put out there. And I saw a popular show is coming back for a 7th season with all around AI and, a very scary type of stuff to show people. But there's a lot that gets put in between that to prevent that kind of stuff from happening. So I think, to your point earlier about where are things going, I think while it certainly is scary because of what could happen if the information's leaked, ultimately these AI agents or LLMs or whatever you're dealing with, they have so much knowledge in them already. Them being able to access tools means that we can also cut off access to tools. So there, things work both ways when, in a way it's a little bit of a safer mechanism to have data distributed as it once was instead of piled into an AI LLM, and being able to kind of have another agent monitor the other agent, see where it needs to cut things off. So I think architecture of technologies has already changed, but is going to change significantly more as well.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Like I am looking at the clock now because I'm like, time's running too fast. This is all super just interesting, really, really neat stuff. But I mean, before we wrap up, is there any final thoughts that you have? Because I mean, I've got to have you back on this show because we've got to continue this because this is amazing.
Yeah, I would say, I think just as like a closing note too, the distinction between tasks being handled by humans versus AIs, I think these will all blur. The lines are going to blur significantly, and work will be dynamically allocated based on real-time assessments. Things will change. So I wouldn't, for anyone watching, I would say don't get too hung up on, okay, my business is doomed. I would use these as superpowers, basically power-ups to do more, explore that other thought or business line, product use case that you wanted to without having to spend the traditional amount of resources. And this is also why we're going to be making another appearance. We had a great time at Pax8 Beyond last year in Denver, and it's right around the corner. So we'll be in Denver in June, and I'm sure with lots more interactive demos at our booth this time.
Oh, that's a great call out. I'm going to be at Beyond. I'm excited to actually see you. That way I can really determine if you're an agent or not. We're going to see. But this has been amazing. Thank you so much for your time. I know that you're busy, but thank you for taking the time today. It means a lot.
All right. Awesome. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thanks, UV. Man, I told you were going to want to stick around for this one. I want to make sure we throw it out to our Copilot Tip of the Week from Willis.
Planning a trip to a place where you don't know the language and feeling like you're about to embark on an adventure full of misunderstandings? Meet your new travel companion, Copilot. I'm Willis. In today's Copilot Tip of the Week, we'll show you how Copilot can help you navigate language barriers while traveling. Translate menus. When you're at a restaurant and can't read the menu, simply open the Copilot app, take a picture of the menu, and let the app translate it for you. This way, you can order your meal without any guesswork. Public transportation. Whether it's a bus schedule, train timetable, or metro map, the Copilot app can translate these for you. Just take a picture, and you'll have all the information you need to get around. Shop with confidence. When shopping, you might come across product labels or price tags in a foreign language. Use the Copilot app to translate these, ensuring you know exactly what you're buying and how much it costs. Communicate with locals. If you need to ask for directions or have a conversation with a local, the Copilot app can help. You can type or speak your question into the app, and it will translate it into the local language, making communication much easier. With the Copilot app, language barriers are no longer a hurdle. Enjoy your travels and explore new places with confidence. Happy traveling.
Thank you so much, Willis. And thanks, UB, everybody, for tuning in and watching today. We talked a lot about AI, the future of AI. Big shout out to Revscale. Really, really awesome stuff. Now, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe because you're not going to want to miss out on next week's show with Amanda Thompson. We're going to talk about MSP, maybe some marketing struggles that you might have. So I look forward to seeing her on April 17th. But make sure that you also know you can find PAX 8 content wherever you get your podcasts. So make sure you check it out.
We've got a fantastic episode lined up for you today.
Jeez, what are you doing in here?
PAX 8 has podcasts now. We're in the big leagues.
Really? Tell me more.
Well, now you can check us out wherever you get your podcast. Keep an eye out for all the great content from our YouTube channel, like the Result Selling Framework podcast. But now, on the go, we'll be chatting with the experts about MSP growth, cybersecurity, AI, and modern work. Thoughts?
Not bad. I still think AI can do it better.
Well, AI doesn't have my charm or my fastball.
Hey, fine. I'll let you get back to recording.
Okay.